So let's go ahead and shift gears from marketing to your offer itself, right? Your pricing and how you communicate your value. By now, you've done a dozen or more jobs, right? If you've been following along and you've been doing this step by step, or if you're a veteran in the game, but you should be getting a feel for your costs, your timeline, and what customers actually expect. So now it's time to actually refine everything. You want to gradually raise your prices to match your value. In the beginning, it's normal to undercharge just to get jobs on the board, but if you stay there, you'll stay stuck. The truth is that you don't get paid for installs, you get paid for your margins. If you're guessing instead of calculating, you'll keep closing jobs and you'll still feel broke in the same stroke, right? So here's how you actually fix that. Know your true costs. Factor in your materials, your labor, fuel, your insurance, taxes, and even your own pay as well. Make sure that you set a healthy profit margin as well. Aim for at least 40 to 50%. That gives you breathing room for growth, unexpected problems, and reinvestment into the business. And definitely stop racing to the bottom. Copying Joe down the street at $5 per square foot does not make you competitive. It makes you broke if Joe's underbidding too, right? And then start to raise your prices gradually. If you're booked out for weeks or closing nearly every quote, it's time to increase your pricing. If your quotes don't make you a little bit nervous, you're probably still undercharging. And then you need to craft your core message as well. Ask yourself, why should someone choose you over a competitor? This is where your messaging comes in. Some examples are like family owned and we treat your floor like it's our own. I love that one, right? Only industrial grade materials for a showroom shine that lasts, or done in one day so you're back in your garage by tomorrow. There's no single right answer, but your message should reflect what your customers love about you, and then repeat it everywhere on your website, in your quotes, in your follow-up texts, in your social media. Consistent messaging builds trust and creates a brand in your customers' minds. You also need to handle common objections proactively. Two big ones in this industry are price, like customers asking, why does it cost so much? Joe down the street will do it for cheaper, right? And what you want to do is respond with education. You can include a one pager in your quotes explaining your process, the materials you use, your warranty, and why your work outlasts the cheap guys. And I highly advise you do this. The other objection that people get is time or scheduling. It's never usually about the product too much unless you just come off really sketchy. So it usually comes down to pricing or time or scheduling, right? They're like, how long will I be unable to use my garage for? And what you need to do in this is manage the expectations up front with just a simple project timeline for them, like day 1 prep, day 2 coat, day 3 walkable, day 4 you can park your car. And this is just a pro tip I like to throw out there. I tell my clients, try to take your top 5 objections and then run them through ChatGPT to come up with some solid responses. You need to study these objections and the responses and then commit them to heart. The best salespeople do not just wing it. They're actually prepared for what they're doing. And then make sure that you're using your system to assist, right? Remember that the automated follow-ups we discussed in step 8, they're perfect for gentle objection handling without you doing it manually. For example, you can say, hey, after a few days of them not replying, say, hey, do you have any questions about your quote? A lot of folks ask about the cost. Keep in mind, our epoxy is industrial grade. It's not the DIY kits, and it comes with a 5-year guarantee. We want this to be the last floor that you ever need. Want me to walk you through the process? And this reopens the conversation and it addresses hesitations without you feeling pushy. The best marketing in the world can't save a business that isn't profitable or appealing to customers. So by fine-tuning your pricing, you protect your profit, you cover your risks, and you build a business that can actually grow. By nailing your messaging, you attract the right customers and you filter out the price shoppers. And by addressing objections up front, you can close more deals instead of watching them slip away silently. At the end of the day, you're not just selling epoxy floors, you're actually selling trust and a solution. And people pay for confidence that you'll do it right. So price and message accordingly. And so at this point, you've built the foundation, right? You've got a website, your Google profile is live, you've started to collect reviews, posting content, and you're maybe even running some ads. So now it's time to leverage everything that you've built and turn it into a self-sustaining machine. This is where the momentum compounds, where every job you complete creates a ripple effect that drives your next job and the next and the next. So how does the loop work? Here's the cycle that we want to create in your business, right? Where you finish a job, the next thing is where the customer is happy. You ask for a review and you often get a 5-star rating, right? that customer refers a friend to you, a neighbor, a family member, and then your growing number of reviews pushes you higher into the Google search results. And then more people start finding you online because of that. And then when more people find you online, you get more calls. And when you get those calls, you book more jobs. And then every new job feeds back into this cycle. Back at number one, you finish the job, customer's happy, you ask for the review. And then that same customer also refers a friend, as long as you're asking. And this is a really virtuous loop: jobs to reviews, higher rankings on SEO and Google, more jobs and more reviews. And over time, this cycle builds unstoppable momentum, right? And you want to be unstoppable, right? I do too. So what does this actually look like? What this looks like is you go from 0 reviews to 50 reviews in just 1 year. You climb from page 5 on Google to the top 3 results. Your phone starts ringing with leads you did not pay for, because your reputation and your ranking are doing all of the marketing for you. I've seen contractors go from struggling with no website, no Google profile, no reviews or anything, to fully booked out for 2 or 3 months in advance, just by writing out this loop, right? And you have to stay on top of it. Momentum itself, it can stall out if you stop doing the basics, right? Even as you get busy, you need to keep prioritizing reviews and personal touch points, right? Make this part of your standard process. You finish the project, you hand the homeowner a care sheet for the new floor, you ask them for a review or referral, maybe put a QR code on that care sheet, and then you follow up with a thank you when they do leave a review. You don't just hope for the reviews, you have to ask for them every single time. And if you don't ask, man, I'll just tell you, there is an extreme power in making an ask for people, right? And then you also want to leverage your wins. Once you've got a solid review base, you want to show them off, quote them on your website, highlight them in your social media posts, and then use them in your quotes. Customers are way more likely to say yes when they see proof that other people love your work. And if your Google rankings improves and calls start coming in from people who just found you, that's a clear sign that SEO is actually working. When that happens, you want to lean in, add more content to your website, increase ad spend to capitalize off of the new traffic, right? And then make sure that you're actually feeding the referral network as well. Your past customers are actually a gold mine. You can stay in touch, send them a thank you card or text after the job, follow up at that 1-year mark and ask them how the floor is holding up and if they know anyone else who needs a new floor. And then offer referral perks as well, like a $50 gift card, a discount on a future project. These things go really far. And we actually talked about this in an earlier step as well. But when someone in their circle mentions epoxy floors, you want your name to pop up in your customer's head, right? And again, all of this stuff compounds. This is really where the magic happens. When you look at it, every single satisfied customer can bring in at least 2 more leads for you if you play your cards right. It's exponential too. 1 customer equals 1 review plus 1 referral. 10 customers equals 10 reviews plus 10 referrals. 50 customers, do you see where this is going, right? In 12 to 24 months, you could go from I'm begging for leads to we're booked out for months, and most of our work is coming from reviews and referrals. This isn't magic as well, right? It's just the payoff for all of the small, consistent actions that you've been taking. Asking for the reviews, following up personally, and then staying active online. All of those little efforts compound into a self-sustaining growth engine, one that keeps running even when you dial back your ad spend. If you build this loop right, your reputation will do the heavy lifting for you. So I know we've covered a lot, so let's zoom out for a little bit and see the full journey. You start from 0, no clients, no ads, just grit and grind, right? And then you build your presence. You build a solid website, a Google profile, a handful of reviews, and you hustle for referrals, right? And then slowly the engine starts humming. The phone starts ringing. You start landing a few jobs, and you make sure that every single job actually feeds into the engine. That, again, more reviews, more referrals, and more credibility. And then you submit your foundation online by keeping your info consistent and sharing content that educates and inspires and attracts attention as well. But then you carefully start to layer on ads to reach more people and implement automation so that no leads fall through the cracks and you stay sane in the process as well, right? And then you start to adjust your pricing and your messaging so that way you're profitable and attracting the right clients. And so now the machine is just really running. You're getting jobs, the reviews come in, your ranking increases, you get more leads, you do more jobs. You get more reviews, your ranking increases, you get more leads, you get more jobs, right? It's a self-sustaining growth loop. And for an extra boost, you can always periodically reactivate old leads to keep the pipeline flowing. This is exactly what I do and what I've done for a dozen of epoxy contractors if I were starting an epoxy flooring company today. It's not a get rich quick trick. It's practical step-by-step execution. And when you stay consistent, every single thing compounds, right? And like we said in the last section there, momentum is a beautiful thing. In the beginning, you're pushing the boulder uphill, sweating for every inch, right? But once it crests and it starts rolling, you really can't stop it at that point, right? My goal with these steps is to get your business flywheel spinning so that way eventually it takes less effort to keep that growing than it did to get started. And if you followed along and if you're fired up to put this in place, but you don't want to spend months figuring it all out on your own, we can always talk. This is what I do for epoxy contractors every single day. We install those proven growth systems that bring in leads and convert them. We automate your sales pipeline so no opportunity slips through the cracks. And then we position your business to help you command higher prices and attract better clients. If you're ready to stop guessing and if you're ready to start scaling, I can help you shortcut the trial and error. Just go to neverstopagency.com and book a quick strategy session. Sometimes one conversation is all that it takes to go from I get it till I'm doing it and I'm winning. Now get out there and build your epoxy empire one floor at a time. You've got the full blueprint here. The next move is actually yours.